In this video, I will be explaining the BCA 5th semester subject programming using ASP.NET as prescribed by Osmania University and other universities of Telangana. We will go through the important questions and answers one by one. Let's begin with a quick revision. Unit 3 first important short question is Computer Validation Control. Computer validation control in ASP.NET is used to automatically check the data entered by the user in a form, ensuring it is correct before submitting it to the server. This control is mainly used to reduce errors and save server resources because the validation happens on the user's computer, client side, first. These controls help validate things like numbers, dates, emails, or text formats without sending data to the server every time. ASP.NET provides controls like Compare Validator and Range Validator for this purpose. Example: imagine a student registration form. The age field should accept numbers only between 18 and 25. Using a Range Validator, computer validation control, the browser immediately checks the input. If a student enters 17, an error message appears instantly, preventing wrong submission. This makes the form faster, user-friendly, and secure, as mistakes are caught before sending data to the server. In simple words, computer validation control acts like a smart helper on your computer that checks your input before sending it to the web server, making web applications more reliable. Next important short question is to write about group validations in ASP.NET. Group validations in ASP.NET. Group validation in ASP.NET allows you to validate multiple input controls together as a single unit. This is useful when a form has different sections and you want to check each section separately instead of validating the entire form at once. ASP.NET provides a property called validation group in all validation controls. By assigning the same validation group name to a set of controls, you can trigger validation only for that group when a button is clicked. Example: imagine a student registration form with two sections. 1. Personal details, name, age, email. 2. Academic details, roll number, course, marks. You can assign validation group is equal to personal to all personal details validators and validation group is equal to academic validators. When the Submit Personal Details button is clicked, only the personal section is validated. This makes forms more organized, user-friendly, and efficient, especially for large forms with multiple sections. In simple words, group validation lets you check specific parts of a form independently, ensuring accurate data entry without overwhelming the user. Next important short question is 3. Accounting validation. Accounting validation in ASP.NET. Accounting validation in ASP.NET is a type of validation used in financial or accounting applications to ensure that numbers and calculations are correct before storing them in the database. This is very important in banking, payroll, billing, and accounting software, where even small mistakes can cause big problems. ASP.NET allows developers to use Compare Validator, Range Validator, and Custom Validator to implement accounting validation. These controls help check things like positive amounts, correct totals, and valid dates. Example: imagine a billing form. You enter price is equal to 500 and quantity is equal to 3. The total amount field should automatically calculate 1500. Using custom validation, ASP.NET can check whether the total matches price times quantity. If someone enters 1400 instead of 1500, an error message is shown, preventing incorrect submission. In simple words, accounting validation acts like a smart accountant, checking that all numbers are correct before saving, making financial applications safe, accurate, and reliable. Next important short question is 4. What is the purpose of the required field validation control? Purpose of required field validation control. The required field validation control in ASP.NET is used to ensure that a user does not leave a particular input field empty before submitting a form. It is one of the most basic and important validation controls because missing values can cause errors in processing or storing data in the database. This control is easy to use. You just attach it to the input control, like text box, drop-down list, and set an error message that appears if the field is empty. Example. Imagine a student registration form. Fields name, email, roll number. You don't want the user to submit the form without entering a name. Using required field validator, if the name field is empty and the user clicks submit, an error message like name is required appears immediately. In simple words, the required field validation control acts like a guard that prevents blank entries, ensuring that all necessary data is entered before processing. This makes forms user-friendly, reliable, and error-free. Next Unit 3. Long questions. First important long question is Web Form Validation Controls. Web Form Validation Controls in ASP.NET. Web Form Validation Controls in ASP.NET are tools used to check user input on web forms before the data is submitted to the server. They help ensure that users enter correct, complete, and expected data, reducing errors and improving user experience. ASP.NET provides a variety of built-in validation controls, which can be used on text boxes, drop-down lists, and other input fields. Types of web form validation controls. 1. Required field validator. Ensures that a user does not leave a field empty. Example, name or email field in a registration form must be filled. 2. Compare validator. Checks whether the input matches a specific value or data type. Example, confirming a password matches the first password field. 3. Range validator. Validates that the input falls within a specific range. Example, age field must be between 18 and 25. 4. Regular expression validator. Checks input against a pattern using regular expressions. Example, validating an email address format like student@example.com. 5. Custom validator. Allows developers to write custom validation logic. Example, checking that a total amount equals price times quantity in a billing form. 6. Validation summary. Displays all error messages in one place on the page. Example, shows all missing or incorrect fields at the top of the registration form. 7. Group validation, validation group property. Allows validating sections of a form separately. Example, personal details and academic details sections can be validated independently. How validation controls work. When a user clicks the Submit button, ASP.NET checks all attached validation controls. If inputs are correct, data is sent to the server. If errors exist, the user sees messages, and the form is not submitted. Validation controls can work on the client side, browser, reducing server load, and also on the server side, ensuring security. Easy example to remember. Think of a school admission form. Name, age, email required field validator. Age range validator. Email regular expression validator. Total marks custom validator. Submit button validation summary shows all errors at once. Web form validation controls make web forms smart and error-free. They check data before submission, save server resources, and improve user experience. Using controls like required field validator, compare validator, range validator, custom validator, and validation summary, developers can create safe, reliable, and user-friendly web applications in ASP.NET. Next important long question is 2. Custom validation control. Custom validation control in ASP.NET. A custom validation control in ASP.NET is a special type of validation control that allows developers to define their own validation logic when the built-in validators, like required field validator, range validator, or regular expression validator, are not enough. It is very useful for complex or unique validation scenarios that are specific to your application. How custom validator works. The custom validator provides two ways to validate input. 1. Client-side validation, using JavaScript, checks data in the browser before submitting to the server. This makes forms faster and reduces server load. 2. Server-side validation, using CHash or VB.NET, checks data on the server for security. Even if client-side validation is bypassed, server-side validation ensures data is safe. Key properties of custom validator. Control to validate, the input control to validate, like a text box. Error message displayed if validation fails. Client validation function, name of JavaScript function for client-side validation. On server validate, server-side event where validation logic is written. Example. Imagine a billing form. Fields, price, quantity, total amount. Requirement, total amount must equal price times quantity. Using custom validator. On the server side, on server validate event, you write code to check total amount is equal to price asterisk quantity. If the calculation is incorrect, the validator shows an error message like total amount does not match price times quantity. You can also add a JavaScript function to check the calculation instantly in the browser. Advantages of custom validator. Validates unique rules that built-in validators cannot handle. Works on both client and server, ensuring speed and security. Makes web forms flexible, reliable, and error-free. Easy way to remember. Think of custom validator as a custom security guard. It checks anything you want, not just standard rules. Stops wrong data from entering the system. Works instantly in the browser or securely on the server. In simple words, custom validation control gives full control to the developer to ensure that web forms are accurate, user-friendly, and safe, no matter how unique the validation requirement is. Next important long question is 3. Explain about Ado.NET Database Services in detail. Ado.NET Database Services in ASP.NET. Ado.NET is a core part of ASP.NET that allows web applications to interact with databases. It provides tools to connect, retrieve, update, and manage data in a structured way. With Ado.NET, developers can create dynamic, data-driven applications like online shopping sites, student portals, or banking systems. Key components of Ado.NET. 1. Connection. A connection object connects your ASP.NET application to a database like SQL Server, Oracle, or MySQL. Example, using SQL connection in CHash to connect to a SQL Server database. 2. Command. A command object is used to execute SQL queries or stored procedures on the database. Example, SQL command can be used to select, insert, update, or delete records. 3. Data reader. A data reader provides fast, forward-only access to data from the database. Example, displaying a list of students in a grid view using SQL Data Reader. 4. Dataset. A dataset is an in-memory collection of data which can hold multiple tables and relationships. It allows you to work with data offline without continuous database connections. 5. Data adapter. A data adapter acts as a bridge between dataset and the database. It fills the dataset with data and can update changes back to the database. 6. Transactions. Ado.NET supports database transactions, ensuring data integrity. Either all operations succeed or none do. Example of Ado.NET in action. Imagine a student management system. Connect the database using SQL connection. Retrieve student records with SQL command and data reader. Store multiple tables like students, courses, marks in a dataset. Use data adapter to update changes in marks back to the database. Advantages of Ado.NET. Works with disconnected data using dataset. Supports multiple databases. Improves application performance with data reader for fast retrieval. Ensures data security and integrity with transactions. Easy way to remember. Think of Ado.NET as a smart office assistant. Connection is equal to opens the office door to the database. Command is equal to gives instructions to the staff. Data reader is equal to quickly reads files one by one. Dataset is equal to keeps copies of important files in memory. Data adapter is equal to sends updates back to the office. In simple words, Ado.NET is the backbone of data-driven ASP.NET applications, making database operations fast, safe, and easy to manage. Next important long question is: for Ado.NET XML, v.imp, Abed Sir YouTube channel. Ado.NET and XML in ASP.NET. Ado.NET XML refers to the ability of Ado.NET to work with XML data. XML, Extensible Markup Language, is a standard way to store and share data across different systems, platforms, and applications. In ASP.NET, Ado.NET provides tools to convert database data to XML, read XML into datasets, and exchange data easily. How Ado.NET works with XML. 1. Dataset and XML. A dataset in Ado.NET can store tables, relations, and constraints in memory. It can also read from and write to XML files using readXML and writeXML methods. This allows you to store data offline or transfer it between systems. Example: dataset ds is equal to new dataset. ds.readXML, students.xml, reads student data from an XML file. ds.writeXML, updated students.xml, saves updates back to XML. 2. XML schema, XSD. You can define a schema, XSD, for your XML data to ensure correct structure. Use readXML schema and writeXML schema to handle schema. This helps maintain data consistency and validation. 3. Converting dataset to XML. You can convert database data from a dataset to XML using writeXML. This is useful for sharing data with other applications, web services, or mobile apps. Example: exporting student marks from SQL Server to XML so another application can read it. 4. Converting XML to dataset. You can load XML data into a dataset using readXML. This allows your ASP.NET application to work with external XML files as if they were database tables. Advantages of Ado.NET XML. Makes data portable and platform independent. Works offline without continuous database connection. Easily integrates with web services and other systems. Supports structured and hierarchical data. Easy way to remember. Think of XML as a universal file and dataset as a work table. Read XML, load files onto your table. Work on data, edit, filter, or calculate. Write XML, save changes back to a universal file. Schema rulebook for your table structure. In simple words, ADO.NET XML lets ASP.NET applications handle database and XML data together, making it easy to store, share, and transfer data safely and efficiently across different systems. Next important long question is 5. Discuss briefly how to convert XML to HTML. Converting XML to HTML in ASP.NET. XML is a standard format for storing and exchanging data, but it is not directly readable in a browser in a friendly format. To display XML data on a web page, we convert XML to HTML, usually using XSLT, Extensible Stylesheet Language Transformations, in ASP.NET. This allows users to view structured data in a human-readable format like tables or lists. Steps to convert XML to HTML in ASP.NET. 1. Prepare XML data. XML contains the raw data. Example, students.xml. Students. Student. Name Rahul, name. Roll no 101, roll no. Marks 85 marks. Student. Student. Name Priya, name. Roll no 102, roll no. Marks 90 marks. Student. Students. 2. Create XSLT file. XSLT defines how XML data should be displayed as HTML. Example, students.xsl. XSL, stylesheet version is equal to 1.0 XMLNS, XSL is equal to http www.w3.org 1999 XSL transform. XSL, template match is equal to HTML. Body. H to student details H2. Table border is equal to 1. TR at name at roll no at marks at TR. XSL, for each select is equal to students student. TR. TD XSL, value of select is equal to name TD. TD XSL, value of select is equal to roll no TD. TD XSL, value of select is equal to marks TD. TR. XSL, for each. Table. Body. HTML. XSL, template. XSL, style sheet. 3. Apply XSLT in ASP.NET. Use XSL compiled transform in C# to convert XML to HTML. XSL compiled transform XSLT is equal to new XSL compiled transform. XSLT.load server.mapath students.xsl. XSLT.transform server.mapath students.xml server.mapath students.html. 4. Display HTML in browser. The resulting HTML file can be opened in a browser, showing data in a clean table format, making it readable and professional. Advantages of XML to HTML conversion. Displays XML data visually on web pages. Makes raw data user-friendly. Allows dynamic web page generation using XML and XSLT. Easy way to remember. Think of XML as raw ingredients, XSLT as the recipe, and HTML as the finished dish. The raw data, XML, alone isn't appetizing, but after applying the recipe, XSLT, it becomes a beautiful table, HTML, ready to serve to users. In simple words, Converting XML to HTML turns structured data into a readable format, helping ASP.NET applications display information clearly and professionally. Next important long question is 6. XML and databases. XML support in .NET retrieve data with datasets and data adapters. XML and databases. XML support in .NET with datasets and data adapters. In ASP.NET, XML is widely used to store, exchange, and share data, while databases store structured data. .NET provides excellent support to work with XML and databases together using datasets and data adapters, allowing developers to manage data efficiently. How XML works with databases in .NET. 1. Dataset. A dataset is an in-memory collection of tables and relationships that can hold data from a database. It can also read and write XML files, making it easy to store, transfer, or manipulate data offline without a live database connection. 2. Data adapter. A data adapter acts as a bridge between a database and a dataset. It retrieves data from the database into the dataset using fill and sends updates back to the database using update. 3. XML integration. Write XML converts dataset data into an XML file. Read XML loads XML data into a dataset. Write XML schema and read XML schema handle the structure of data, tables, columns, relationships. This allows a dataset to interact seamlessly with both databases and XML files. Example: student records. 1. Retrieve data from database to dataset. SQL connection con is equal to new SQL connection string. SQL data adapter da is equal to new SQL data adapter, select asterisk from students, con. Dataset ds is equal to new dataset. Da dot fill, ds, students, dataset now has student data. 2. Save dataset to XML. ds.writeXML, students.xml, creates XML file from database data. ds.writeXML schema, students schema.xsd, creates schema. 3. Read XML into dataset. Dataset ds2 is equal to new dataset. ds2.readXML, students.xml, loads XML data into dataset. 4. Update database from dataset. SQL command builder cb is equal to new SQL command builder, da. Da.update, ds, updates database with changes made in dataset. Advantages of XML and databases in .NET. Works offline using datasets. Easily transfers data between systems with XML. Maintains data integrity with data adapter and command builder. Supports structured and hierarchical data with XML. Easy way to remember. Think of it like a warehouse. Database is equal to main storage room. Dataset is equal to portable cart you can take anywhere. Data adapter is equal to forklift connecting cart to storage. XML is equal to digital copy of the data for sharing. In simple words, XML and databases together in .NET make data storage, transfer, and manipulation fast, safe, and flexible, allowing ASP.NET applications to handle data efficiently across platforms.